Welcome again to another episode. In this one, we will be talking about the heavy tool mainly and their doctrines. Because there are some hidden information that you need to know. Also, I need to tell you something that I did discover about this unit that might help you out. All thanks to this comment, of course, because it did draw my attention to this. So in the previous episode or video, I told you that I would consider this unit as an S tier unit if they can fire arrows while staying in their formation without rushing to the enemy. So let's learn together how we can do that, because apparently it is possible. First, you need to X them or put them in a formation, and again I repeat, this will not work if you are running around. You need to let them stop in the formation first. This is a very important step. So as I was saying, you put them in a formation, then you press the skill number 1. The catch is, you need to aim the skill number 1 on your unit. For example, I'm in F tier formation, I will aim the skill number 1 on the tip of the formation or on the formation itself, my unit, okay? After you do that, your unit will actually start firing on the closest enemy to them without rushing them. However, you need to keep in mind, in order to do this again, you need to X them again and let them stop in the formation before pressing 1. In other words, you cannot press 1 twice without repositioning them, because this will not work. I hope this is crystal clear for you. So again, every single time you want them to fire arrows while standing without rushing, you need to X or put them in a formation, then press 1 on them. The last important tip that you need to keep in mind is to keep your distance, because apparently, even if you do all these steps and the enemy is actually very close to you, your unit will rush to them. So to keep it simple, this is the minimum required distance for this to work. If the enemy is closer to you, your unit will probably start rushing them. Now to the doctrines. First of all, this is the best build I could come up with for the heavy tool. This build focuses on enhancing the second skill. Not really the first, since the second can dash out like 15k crit damage if done correctly, especially on an already burning target. So the catch here is that the doctrine, which is called Carnage, actually works on the first skill. And it does indeed consider the first skill of the heavy tool as a charge, which is weird, I know, but it is what it is, and it does reduce the cooldown of the first skill, which is really good for you. So here is a comparison for the cooldown. As you can see, the cooldown with the doctrine is about 14 seconds, maybe even less. If you have this doctrine on tier 5, it will give you 7 whole seconds. In case you are wondering, yes, the Carnage doctrine works on the Khishig's first skill as well. And in case you're wondering, no, the Carnage doctrine does not work on the second skill of the heavy tool, nor the second skill of the Khishig. Now, this is another build for the heavy tool that I see people actually using, but I was not really convinced, and let me explain why. So, the first doctrine you should notice is the Furious Strike one. Well, the skill is actually good, or the doctrine is actually good, and it works just fine if used after the skill number 2. However, for a person like me, this doctrine is pretty rare and I only have one of them, so I simply personally prefer to put this doctrine on the Kriegsbrüder since it allows them to heal 2 times. But in the end, this is a personal preference. If you have more of this, you can just slam one on your heavy tool, it's fine. The second part is the double damage doctrine with sprint. In case you do not know, This doctrine of the double damage does not work while you're using any other skill, like 1, 2, or 3 in case you have the third skill, which is the Furious Strike. So this double damage doctrine will only work with 2 really strict conditions. Condition number 1, you need to press on the sprint, okay? Condition number 2 is not to have any other skill active. The problem with doing so is actually when you axe the heavy tool around, their damage is not that high. Their damage is around like 3k maximum. So when you press the sprint and give them double damage, that will boost the damage to 6k. But on the other side, you will be attacking an unburning enemy, okay? Which means you will be taking damage. And guess what? Heavy tool are pretty squishy, so you need to really pick your target if you're gonna go with this build. Last but not least, you will have to like press 4 different buttons, which is kinda annoying for someone like me. But you can go like this. You press 1, mix it up with the second skill. When you're done, you press the sprint and then use the Furious Strike. Some people claimed that this will work, but when I personally tested it does not work. And it's not fine, because your heavy tool will die because they are very squishy. That's why I do not like this build on them, because it requires someone with very great experience. So to summarize this second build, I would say using the Furious Strike doctrine is really fine. It's really great. If you have more than one, go ahead and slam one on your heavy tool. But for me, the double damage doctrine and the sprint is just a huge waste of resources on the heavy tool. In the end, if you're wondering about the Khishig, since they were on the thumbnail of the video, well, they are still a B tier unit that you should not use. And that was it. See you soon in the battlefield, warlords.